What's up, family? How y'all doing today, man? As you see, I got some water behind me. It's a very calming feeling, very comforting. Do you know what else is comforting? This drug rug I'm wearing right now. Fuck, I can't even get the hood up. This drug rug I'm wearing. Now, this drug rug is not part of an outfit. Right now I'm wearing Adidas shorts and some Nike slides. Bad style, huh? I know a lot of you people would not be willing to go out looking like this. But me right now, I'm comfortable. I am happy, bro. This drug rug is amazing. It feels so comfortable. When I do acid, bro, or any type of drug, I chill in here and I get no anxiety, no fear, no panic, nothing like that. No bad trips. I can meditate in it. I can do everything. But you probably wouldn't be willing to go out and have people see you looking like this with, you could say, poor style. That's rooted in fear. And what is fear rooted in? Belief, perception. The only reason you have fear, if you have social anxiety or anything of this regard, it's because you're worried about how people perceive you, about how you look in someone else's eyes. And to a lower regard, how you look in your own eyes. See, the Japanese people, there's a folk story that says we have three faces. The face we show to the world, the face we show to our friends and family, and the face we show to ourselves. Now, it depends what that face looks like. To the world, my face can look as ugly, as stupid, as unintelligent. I don't care. I don't care what I look like to the world, because I know the real world. You see this water behind me. This water doesn't care what I look like. This water doesn't care at all. You know? The only thing that do care, the only life form that cares are people. And people don't actually care what you look like. People only care what they look like. But by looking at you, they're going to compare you to themselves. And once they do that, they see, oh, you're wearing a gold chain, you're wearing Gucci, you're wearing a Gucci belt, you have a Louis Vuitton bag, you have all this nice shit on. They're going to compare it to themselves. They're wearing a black shirt and jeans. And they say, damn, I want to look like them. I don't want to look like this. But if you think about it, you gotta understand how those people got that, how these people got those things, because those things are expensive things. Now, there's two things that could have happened. Either they don't have the money and they wasted their bill money on that superficial clothing, or they made enough money and used their power to obtain enough currency to justify those purchases. And you can look at those either way. You can say, for the first one, he used his bill money and wasted it on clothes because he was worried about what his face looked like, about his mask, how it looked to other people. Now, you can say the opposite for the rich guy. The rich guy took risks, and that's how he got rich. He doesn't care what his mask looks like to you. And likely, if he's wearing that expensive stuff, most of the time, he's wearing it for himself. He cares about what he looks like. He doesn't care how you see him. He likes to look in the mirror every day. Like Drake said, he said, I wear every single chain even when I'm in the house. And in the house, who's gonna see you except yourself? Now, Drake is extremely rich. And Drake likes to adapt to the new styles coming out. He likes to give up the style he was holding on to, give up what he was used to, and adapt to a new style while putting his own flair onto it. Now, what do you call that? I call that a lack of fear. A lack of fear. Because all fear is time. Now, I gotta expand on that a little bit. The fear is not time. The fear is caused by time. Because all time is a specific event happening in a certain point. For example, right now, that water is flowing. Right? Very calming, very peaceful. The water continues to flow. It's always coming out and it's always going back in. Right? Now that's how time works. Time is a continuous stream. And what people can't understand is we have to use that current, that continuous cycle of time to our advantage. And we can do that through expansion, training, and exposure. Now, expansion is, in my opinion, when you decide that what I have right now or what I am right now is not enough, so I need more. And this is where the thinking comes in, where the brainstorming aspect. To expand, I have to understand what I am expanding toward. Now, if I'm a rapper and I'm trying to try out a new style, first I have to think of the style and then I have to work on it. I have to figure it out. I have to train. I have to practice. I have to work on whatever it is that I'm attempting to change. I like the hood because I feel like a wizard. You have to realize what it is you want to change and do it. And I already forgot what the third one is, but I'm assuming it's around the area of application. We have expansion, application, or expansion, training, and let's say application. Application is when you take what you've already made and you see what is already available to you in a specific field and you add your own spice into it. Now, this is where people get tripped up. This is where fear comes in. It's not difficult to think of an idea. It's not difficult to work on the idea, but to present the idea to the people around you is when fear kicks in. Fear is this dislike of change. And when you change, you don't change how other people think, you change how you think. And you do that by letting other people judge you, letting other people see how it affects you, letting people see the work you've done and the ideas you've implemented. And this is a step to creation. And once people judge you, and then you realize nothing happened, nothing changed when people judged me. If anything, I gained things because more people are looking at it, I'm gaining more exposure. I think exposure was the word I was looking for. Exposure. I'm gaining more exposure. And then when I gain more exposure by other people, I become more self-confident. When my self-confidence rises, I can restart the cycle. I can brainstorm, practice, train, and then apply over and over. And that is how time works. See, fear happens when you get stuck in the application phase. You get stuck before you begin. The only thing that fear can do to you is cause you to overthink. Now, if you think about it, when has fear ever actually hurt you? You can say, oh, I have anxiety attacks, I have panic attacks. It doesn't hurt you. It might make you struggle. It might make you hurt mentally. But every time you've had an anxiety attack or a panic attack, you're releasing all that energy from overthinking that you were never willing to release. You were brainstorming. You were thinking thoughts. And then when the panic attack happened, it happened because you were afraid to apply those thoughts into something that you can use to better your life. And therefore, the universe took it from you forcefully. Now, the way to get rid of fear, the way to eliminate this pain in your mind is to speak. If you're always taking, if you're always creating, if you're always taking energy from the world to create a thought, to brainstorm a thought, and then you're not releasing that energy is going to stay inside you. And when that energy stays inside you, it's going to create fear. It's going to create that overthinking. Because you have that ability to be that stream right there. You can be that stream. The way the world works, the way time works, the way your mind should work, it should be a cycle of, you see that fountain over there. It's taking the water and shooting it up, and then the water's flowing out, and then over time, every speck of water comes back in, floats back up. It's a continuous cycle of giving and taking. When you continuously take and never give, that creates fear. Because if you're taking from the world, you're taking from yourself. You're taking the energy that you have inside and holding on to it. It's like if I put my hand on the stove, it's gonna burn me. And do you know why? Because I turned up the heat on the stove, and over time, the energy generated into thermal energy and held on to that energy, and then when I touched it, it hurt me. It burned me. But if I turn off the heat, no longer the energy will be adding to the fire. The heat will disperse into the air. It will disperse into the room, and the room will get more warm. Now I can extrapolate this to myself. If I'm the stove, what I do, I like to turn on the heat. I like to cook food, and then I turn off the heat and then eat the food. So if I am the stove, the room is the world. The room is time. When I heat myself up, when I put energy into a craft, I can make a meal out of it. I can eat off it. Think of a rapper. When a rapper is writing his music, he's turning up the heat. And then when he finishes a song, that's when the food's cooked. And then when the food's cooked, you can eat. You don't just keep the stove on. It doesn't work like that. You need time to sit there and generate a new idea. You have to turn off the heat so you can reflect on what you've already created, what you've already cooked. You have to reflect on this. And if you're lucky, the heat will fill up the room and become warm enough for you to stay in it. See, the world is like a house without an AC. You don't need an AC to live, but it's nice. It's nice. If you don't have an AC, you're probably thinking, I need an AC. I wish I had one. But you never understand that you want an AC until you don't have it. If every day it's hot out and you don't have an AC, when you're at the house, you're either going to leave the house and do something else, or you're going to say, I want to do what I can to get an AC. But when you finally get that AC, you don't really appreciate it as much as you did when it was scolding hot in your house. It's like a blanket. If every day you go to bed with a blanket over you, and then one day you take off your sheets, you open your window, and then put the blanket in your closet and sleep with nothing, you're gonna be a little more cold, unless it's you're in like Texas or California or something. Then you probably wouldn't be too cold, but you know, you get the example. Now, when I start these videos, I just like to rant. I like to let thoughts come off the top, and then I name the video in posterity. Afterwards, when I reflect, that's when I name the video. That's when I give the idea its check mark, and I verify it, and I release the video, and that's my stove. When I release the video, I turn off the stove and let the heat go out. Sometimes there's not enough heat to light up the room, to warm up the room. But, I mean, I'm gonna keep trying. If it's cold in my house, I'm not just gonna try once and say, oh, I fucked up. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna do that, right? Now, some people ask, how do you turn on that stove? How do you get over the fear of, I might burn my house down if I turn on the stove? I might do that. Now, obviously, that's not gonna happen as my wizard hat falls down. That's not gonna happen. But to me, that's what most people seem like. My family says, I wanna make YouTube videos. I wanna express my thoughts. I'm like, do it. They're like, no, I'm not funny. I'm not interesting. I'm not worth it. I'm not. And I say, who said that? Literally nobody said that. Do you know who actually said that? Your mind. You said that to yourself because other people projected their insecurities onto you. If someone ever tells you you're ugly, then it's on them. Someone thinks you're beautiful. Someone. And if that someone is you, then you're unstoppable. Now, opinions, all opinions is a self-reflection of what you've been through in your life, of what you've seen, right? It makes sense. If I was born in a Republican household, extremely poor, chopping wood every day, killing animals in the forest, I'm most likely going to be Christian and Republican. I'm not just going to pop out and be a Black Lives Matter, Democratic, fucking, whatever you call it. I'm not going to be a Democratic politician. I'm not going to be Joe Biden if I was raised like Trump. See? It's just energy. The way that time moves in your interpretation of life depends on who you'll be. And if you are just your environment and your own interpretation, and you have nothing to be scared about, because your identity was created. You don't exist. You got a dude on a golf cart. I like it. Now, I'm gonna wrap up this video with one thing. What is so difficult about being alone? I never understood the fear of loneliness. The only way that you could be lonely is if you don't have someone with you. And you could also say it in, I'd rather be lonely than with someone I hate. Would you agree? I would agree. If I'm in a room with someone I don't like that I want to punch, I would much rather be alone in my room. Now, the only reason that you are scared of being alone is because you or that person you want to punch. Me, I love myself. I love me and my wizard hat. I'm a big fan of myself because I know that I have power. I know that I'm strong. Okay? I know that I have the ability and the infinite potential to do anything. Now, what you have to do, you have to learn how to love yourself. And once you love yourself, you will get rid of fear. Now, you got to think about it as this water. This water is a continuous cycle. Now, the water doesn't have subjective feelings, it doesn't have emotions, but it runs with the universe. And all the birds, all the trees, all this stuff, they're not too lazy to get out of bed in the morning. They just get out of bed. Do you know why? Because they're not afraid to be alone. They know if they go outside, they might not meet anybody and might not have anybody with them. But they internally love themselves. Therefore, everything in the universe runs on the frequency of love. And if you think about this water, the water is continuously flowing, always going in and out. So the water is vibrating on love. Now, the only thing that doesn't vibrate on love is us. And that in itself is an extremely beneficial power because that gives us the ability to learn and apply. A dog, you can teach a dog how to do a trick, but you can't teach a dog how to do calculus. You know? Man, you can do whatever you want to do in this life. And what you tell yourself you are is what you will become. So, watch this video over. Try to pull some stuff from it. And just work. It takes some time to love yourself. But it will happen as long as you believe it. If every day you wake up and say, I am amazing, I love myself. If you say that every day in your head, even if it's a lie right now, eventually it will become true because it will outbalance the hatred. Because every negative thought, 10 negative thoughts does not equal one loving thought. If I tell myself I love myself, I'm going to remember that I said that. But if I wake up in the morning and say, I don't really feel like getting out of bed, I'm not going to remember that once I get out of bed, But I'm going to remember if I love someone, if I love myself, right? So therefore, love is a more powerful force. Therefore, once you vibrate on love, once you enjoy the ability to love yourself, you will gain the potential to outweigh those negative thoughts. So if negative thoughts, you have 1/10 of your potential. With love, you could be at 100 times your potential. You have no potential because your potential is infinite. You will have no top. Okay? So love outweighs fear in the end. Okay? That's all I got to say to y'all now. So I'm going to end this here. Third eye. Goodbye, family.